Coloradans love to celebrate America by driving to Wyoming.
If I can get through and have a good time, I'm willing to risk it.
Why so many risk breaking state law going across the border to set their money on fire. If you thought soap operas were a thing of the past, you have not been watching the Colorado GOP. And a viewer asks an excellent question. Why are Colorado drivers forced to drag race, getting on a highway instead of, maybe zipper merging? And an opportunity to extend a helping hand to survivors of domestic violence. It's a cause worth supporting together tonight on Next. Let's start with a jingle. You take I-25 to exit 2. Yeah, it's not the song you think it is. Those are the directions that carloads of people follow just about this time every year. The directions to drive 2 miles into Wyoming to buy fireworks that are legal where they're sold and bring them back to Colorado where they're illegal. Our Mark Salinger made the drive in search of answers.
Artillery shells are buy one, get two free.
Exit 2 off I-25 doesn't attract a whole lot of people most of the year.
Right across the border of Colorado and Wyoming.
On this side of the state line, sales explode this week.
I'm from Denver. I drove the hour and a half up here.
Of course, we're going to make the drive. It's all worth it. Yeah, love it.
There's no fireworks in Colorado.
Nearly every license plate, t-shirt, and advertisement all comes from the cowboy state's neighbor down south, where the rules are different.
I believe it's illegal. Anything that launches in the air, they're all banned.
That's a legal question. I'm not an attorney, but pretty sure we can get bigger stuff here.
Most fireworks are illegal in Colorado.
So, got to come up here to Wyoming and hopefully make it back to Colorado safely and, have a good 4th of July.
I don't actually really know what the laws are, but you go to the fireworks stands in Colorado and they're like little kid stuff. This is big time stuff.
Lisa says you get a bigger bang for your buck in Wyoming.
Can we throw in a size matters joke?
Everyone up here knows the rules back home, but they also know police in Colorado hardly ever give out tickets for fireworks.
I am totally cool with it. I don't know what the fine is, but I'm willing to find out if they want to test it. I'm okay with it.
That doesn't really matter to Jordan or anyone else in this parking lot.
We got artillery shells from 5-inch, 4-inch, bunch of fountains. Probably spent roughly around $3,500.
2 miles into Wyoming, Colorado knows they celebrate birthdays different.
If I can get through and have a good time, I'm willing to risk it.
So I'm told the most that anyone has ever spent at that store is more than $10,000 on one trip. For context, the most expensive firework up there, called the Armageddon, cost more than $1,600. Heard Marshall say you're literally lighting money on fire. Fireworks still very much illegal in Colorado, want to remind everybody that, but knowing that it's very hard for police to enforce the rules, Marshall, people are willing to risk it.
Let's be clear. It's the fireworks that leave the ground that are illegal.
There are certain fireworks that are legal, but those are just the little ones that like sparklers and just make a little bit of fire.
I've had a struggle. I've gotten some feedback about my zipper merging stories for people who disagree with it, and they don't want to go on camera. You had no problem getting people on camera about this.
Yeah, it's like kids in a toy store, right? Like everybody's excited, everybody's buying this stuff. It was amazing to me, though, to say, hey, it's illegal. Yeah, I know it's illegal, but I'm still doing it because everybody else is doing it. And quite literally, they're even advertising. They have billboards here in Denver saying, go up to Wyoming, you can buy your fireworks there.
I'm game planning. That's exit 2. That might mean there could be an exit 1. We probably just have to build the infrastructure.
You want to buy some land?
We can talk if we want to go down this road.
Go halvesies.
All right. Thanks, Mark. Even if Colorado law didn't rule out fireworks displays, Lauren, the weather might. Look, from a weather standpoint, if people are going to be doing what they just bought in Wyoming, is it going to be quickly put out?
Well, across the eastern plains, Mother Nature has some fireworks of her own, where we've been seeing some strong storms to the east. Tomorrow for 4th of July, we have a much cooler, sunny, dry day in store. But let's go ahead and take a look at our HD Doppler radar, where we've been having a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings in place along the plains. We even had a tornado warning at around 4 o'clock, and now we have a flash flood warning up near the Nebraska Panhandle. All of this blue area is a severe thunderstorm watch that'll be in effect through the rest of the afternoon. afternoon. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stronger storms. The strongest storm right now just pushed its way through Lyman. It still is warned until around 6:30. Same goes for some storms just southwest of this. And we're looking for this long line of showers and storms really to just drop some heavy rainfall. We're also looking for hail, mostly $50 to quarter size. Some of this track did leave some larger hail, maybe up to apple to baseball possibilities there. We're also looking for those winds to gust anywhere from 60 to 70 miles per hour. And of course, lots of lightning and thunder. Quite the light show here. We saw a long line of showers and storms across the far northeastern corner of Colorado. All of these have now made their way into the Nebraska Panhandle, leaving behind it a flash flood warning until around 8:30 because of all of that localized rainfall. And then to the south, we also have another area of a long line of storms quickly pushing its way into Kansas. So we're going to watch for this. But before it does that, we do still have some severe thunderstorm warnings in place in Colorado as this system moves eastward as well. Now, with the entire eastern plains, we have that severe thunderstorm watch in place until around 7 o'clock. That means any of these storms in this area could produce maybe a tornado or two. We're also looking for up to apple-sized hail and those winds gusting up to 75 miles per hour. Once all of that moves out in about an hour or so, we're going to start to dry out and we're going to see an overnight cool front drop our temperatures for tomorrow. So in the meantime, during the overnight hours, we're looking for most of our lows in the 50s, some 30s and 40s in the high country, and then making those 4th of July plans for tomorrow. The urban corridor mostly in the upper 70s to low 80s with some 60s and 70s as you make your way through the foothills and into the high country. Cooler weather sticks around Thursday and Friday. We warm up a bit Saturday, then we look for more widespread storm chances Sunday.
The debate redemption tour continues for President Biden. He met with Democratic governors from across the country this afternoon, though Colorado Governor Jared Polis was not one of them, at least in person. A spokesperson told me Polis joined virtually. The president was expected to reassure the Democratic governors that he is the candidate to face former President Trump in November. Biden has faced mounting concerns about his age and mental capacity since last week's presidential debate, though Polis has dodged our questions about his confidence in Biden's abilities. Last week, he told us, quote, Biden is the Democratic nominee unless he and Jill, the First Lady, decide otherwise. We asked to speak to Polis after tonight's meeting. I still don't have a response. Biden told campaign staffers today that he is, quote, in this race to the end and won't be pushed out. The Colorado Republican Party will hold a meeting in 2 weeks, and right after it starts, it will be recessed until the end of August. It seems like the meeting is being called to abide by a timeline when a petition was submitted to oust current Colorado GOP Chairman Dave Williams. That meeting to delay the meeting will be held in a park in Bayfield. I'll wait while you Google Bayfield. It's 20 miles east of Durango. And now, if it seems strange to call a meeting just to postpone that meeting to a later time in a park in rural southwest Colorado, then you have not been watching as the Colorado GOP turns. When we last checked in on the Colorado GOP, the effort to remove Chairman Dave Williams hit a roadblock when 2 former state lawmakers challenged the petition by Todd Watkins, the vice chair of the El Paso County Republicans. Watkins said he had the signatures of 112 Republican Party Central Committee members, which was enough to force a meeting to hold a vote to remove Williams. Following me so far? Well, there were no signatures, just 112 names. And the 2 former state lawmakers, Tim Leonard and Ted Harvey, want a paper trail of those signatures, showing a text or an email saying they support the effort. Then on Monday, our partners at Colorado Politics report that Watkins held an unusual El Paso County Republican meeting in lawn chairs in front of a church. That's where El Paso County Republican chairwoman Vicki Tompkins, a Dave Williams defender, was censured. Tompkins told Colorado Politics it was a fake meeting of disgruntled agitators. Will Chairman Dave Williams remain chairman? Will Todd Watkins get his meeting to hold a vote to get rid of Williams? Will there be another meeting in lawn chairs in front of a church? Tune in next time as the Colorado GOP turns. I gotta remember to set my DVR for that. Over the past 4 years, Next viewers have raised $12 million by chipping in a bit at a time to help nonprofits across Colorado. This week, we have the opportunity to help victims of domestic violence find safety and justice. Kyle's on the road with an update on this week's Word of Thanks.
Thank you for being with Next while I'm away. There are domestic violence survivors in Colorado who are afraid to come forward and seek justice. because in their home countries, domestic violence victims are often the ones who are punished, or at the very least, they're not believed. That's why this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign supports Una Mano, Una Esperanza, a hand, a hope. It's a small nonprofit that helps Latinas in the Denver metro area navigate the domestic violence criminal justice system, meeting with them ahead of time, showing them how the process works, why they can trust it, why it will help them and their families get to a safer place, then literally walking with them through the court system to help them find justice, and assisting them financially with whatever they need to start a new life in a better, safer place. To join me in supporting Una Mano, Una Esperanza, scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491. You've proven the power of $5 donations, so as always, I will match the first 50 people to come in with $5. And nearly 3,000 of you have signed up for monthly giving through the Word of Thanks Fund. Those recurring donations help every nonprofit that we feature here, and it's meant that we've started recent micro-giving campaigns with nearly $20,000 in donations.
As Colorado cattle become increasingly infected with bird flu, the state is also reporting its first human case in 2 years. It's a unique 4th of July travel story in that it's a road that's been closed that is now kinda open. CDOT hits a milestone today in southwest Colorado. One simple change could force Colorado drivers to zip it, but the simple change costs lots of change. Next. Despite a looming lawsuit, Colorado's Prescription Drug Affordability Board will try to cap the price of 2 more medicines. Today, the board voted to set a price cap for Stelara and Cosentyx, 2 drugs used to treat symptoms of psoriasis and arthritis. The board estimates Stelara users pay an average after-insurance price of $5,000 each year. For Cosentyx users, it's $2,000 a year. You need to know this term, UPL. It stands for Upper Payment Limit. The UPL faces pushback from the usual suspects like drug manufacturers and insurance companies, but also from patients who worry they'll lose access to the drugs if providers pull them from Colorado because of this decision.
A UPL is likely to have unintended consequences, including reduced patient access. Plans have already indicated intent to limit access to drugs with UPLs.
The reason patients like me fall through bail so many drugs before finding the miracle one is due to the trial and error process almost entirely dictated by the insurance formulary in efforts to save money for them.
The board already faces a federal lawsuit after voting to cap the price of another arthritis drug earlier this year. Pharmaceutical company Amgen argues states don't have the power to regulate drug prices and that most patients have the cost of their drugs subsidized by insurance or patient assistance programs. It's a first in Colorado and the 4th nationwide. The Centers for Disease Control announced today that a Colorado dairy farm worker tested positive for bird flu. The Colorado Department of Public Health would not say where the dairy worker contracted the bird flu other than it is a farm in northeast Colorado, and that the risk to the public is low. The CDC said there were cows at the farm that also tested positive, and workers exposed to infected animals are at a greater risk of infection themselves. The worker reported a mild eye infection and has since recovered. There have been more than 20 herds in Colorado infected with bird flu. The State Department of Agriculture has tried to minimize cases by requiring testing of dairy cattle moved across state lines. It will be a red, white, and blue Mesa 4th for drivers between Montrose and Gunnison. Part of the Highway 50 bridge connecting the two cities reopened a bit today. CDOT partially opened the bridge over Blue Mesa Reservoir this morning. It closed in April when inspectors found cracks in the steel bridge supports. The only alternates were a limited local access road or 6-hour detours, or as Mark Salinger showed us earlier this year, boating to school. Starting today, a pilot car will guide small cars and emergency vehicles over one lane of the bridge from 6:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night. But starting next week, travel will be limited to morning and evening rush hours only to allow for continued repairs. CDOT aims to have the bridge fully open by the fall. The road to zipper merging is paved with good intentions and lots of money. Why CDOT says a simple solution to zippering in an everyday location is out of the question. Next. It's a sign that our zipper merge education campaign is taking off. Danae spotted this sign on westbound I-70 near Vail. Take turns, merge here. It's longer than Zip It, Colorado, but it gets the point across. It's an orange sign, so clearly this is a construction area, but that does not mean you cannot practice zippering in everyday situations. Remember, zipper merging is when you take turns where two lanes become one. Left side, right side. There's a place where tens of thousands of drivers could be forced to zipper merge if the state made one change. Our next question comes from Michael in Erie. He wants to know why the two-lane highway on-ramp metering lights both turn green at the same time. Wouldn't it be better to alternate the left and right lanes, setting up a natural zipper merge before entering the highway? Drag races start where the rubber meets the road, also known as a highway on-ramp. Michael, it's a great question. Some states do alternate green lights one at a time, but a CDOT spokesperson told me there are two main reasons this does not exist in Colorado: safety and money. The simultaneous release of cars was the system CDOT set up in the early 1990s when on-ramp signals were introduced, and CDOT has not found the double green as having a quantifiable negative impact on safety. But let's say CDOT wanted to alternate green lights. It would require overhead signals, like the ones you see here at the Arapahoe Road on-ramp to northbound I-25. Many on-ramps only have the side signals. There are more than 100 on-ramps in just the Denver metro area, and CDOT estimates the cost at $100,000 per on-ramp to upgrade to overhead signals. If you had a close eye on the video, you might have caught something else we should probably talk about. Do you have to stop at a highway on-ramp red light? Because we sure saw plenty of drivers not stopping. Yes, you should be stopping at these signals. Colorado State Patrol can ticket you on the highways for this. Police from whichever city you're in could also pull you over too. The fine is $113.50 for the few seconds you're trying to save, and it is a 4-point ticket for disregarding a traffic control device. So despite what you've heard, those red lights are not voluntary. Marilyn, for the first time this week, I get physical feedback. Thank you. Before we get to your feedback, Kyle has an update on this week's Word of Thanks, helping Latina domestic violence victims find the support they need to start fresh.
The nonprofit Una Mano, Una Esperanza starts with a simple promise to domestic violence survivors that they will be believed and that the system will protect them. That's hard for some of them to believe based on where they've come from, countries where domestic violence survivors are not protected and are not believed. Una Mano, Una Esperanza meets one-on-one with these survivors, guides them through the criminal justice process, and helps them with culturally competent therapy so that they can start new lives in safer situations. To join me and a bunch of others in supporting their work through this week's Word of Thanks micro-giving campaign, scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491. This is a small nonprofit that has a big presence in the Latina community in the Denver metro area because their navigators, their promotoras, are out in the community making connections, convincing survivors to come forward so that they can be believed, so that they can find justice and safety.
For every person who goes to Wyoming for fireworks, there's probably several people, like Hadley, who writes, I don't know who I'm angrier with, the police for not enforcing the no fireworks law, or the people who set them off regardless of said law, not to mention vets, pets, and wildfire danger. Scott writes in, I'm a great moderator for 9 News. Why, thanks, Scott. However, you and Kyle need to get off your zipper merge kick. It does not work. Scott, would you be willing to do an on-camera interview? I'm trying to do a story on the opposition to the zipper merge.